The empty chair, the lights on set were still warm when everyone started packing up. The cameras were shutting down. The crew was laughing and chatting about dinner plans, but in one quiet corner of the soundstage, Anna Derma sat completely still, her face frozen in disbelief. Just 30 minutes ago, she had been glowing. It was her big moment, her scene, opposite the lead Keanu Reeves, was finally happening. The studio had hyped it for months. Fans were waiting. Anna had rehearsed her lines until her voice cracked, stayed late on set, even skipped holidays just to get every expression right. But then, without warning, the director had walked in with a paper in his hand and a tight look on his face. "Anna, can I talk to you for a minute?" His voice wasn't loud, but everyone felt the shift. Keanu had paused mid-scene. The assistant director glanced at the floor. Even the makeup artist froze and followed the director to the side, her smile still trying to hold on. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "They've rewritten the script. Your role's been cut at first." Anna didn't understand. "What do you mean cut? Just this scene?" He looked down completely. "The new version doesn't include your character anymore. It's a decision from higher up." Her heart sank. Just like that, months of work, hope and passion vanished. "I can still be on set?" she asked, her voice shaking. He nodded, but it wasn't real permission, it was pity. So now she sat alone in that chair, watching others laugh under the bright lights while her part in the story disappeared, like it had never mattered. No one came over, no one knew what to say. People were too busy or too awkward or maybe too scared to get involved. After all, this was Hollywood. People lost parts all the time. But Anna wasn't just someone she had tried so hard. She had believed this role would change things for her, and now she felt invisible until in person noticed across the set. Keanu Reeves had watched it all. He had seen the way her face changed when the director spoke. He saw the way she sat now, hands folded tightly, pretending to scroll through her phone, pretending not to cry. Keanu knew what that moment felt like. Not many people would believe it, but early in his career, he had been cut from scenes. 2 directors had told him he wasn't good enough. Studios had laughed at his quiet voice and soft nature. He hadn't forgotten, so he walked toward her, not as an actor, not as a celebrity, as a human being. Anna heard his footsteps and quickly wiped her face. "Hey," Keanu said gently, pulling up a chair beside her. "Hi," she replied, trying to smile. He didn't mention what happened. He didn't say sorry. He didn't offer comfort. He just sat beside her quietly, like he had all the time in the world. Finally, Anna whispered, "I don't know what I did wrong." Keanu looked at her. "You didn't do anything wrong, but they cut me," she said. "I thought I was good." "You were," he replied. "I saw your rehearsals. I saw the way you brought something real to this character. The decision wasn't about your talent, it was about business, and business doesn't always make sense." Anna blinked back. "More tears? It just hurts. It feels like I disappeared." Keanu nodded slowly. "That feeling, it's real. I've been there. You have more times than I can count, but it never means aren't worthy." Anna looked down. "I thought if I worked hard, it would be." "Sometimes it is," he said. "Sometimes it's not. But what matters is that you stay who you are. Don't let this moment change your heart." Anna didn't know what to say, but in that silence something softened in her chest. For the first time since hearing the news, she didn't feel alone. Keanu stood up. "Come with me. Just trust me." Anna followed him. People turned to look confused. The director raised an eyebrow but didn't say anything. Keanu walked straight to the center of the set, right where they were filming. He waved to the camera operator. "Roll," he said. The operator hesitated. We're between scenes. "Roll anyway," Keanu said calmly. "I just want to run something." And then he turned to Anna. "We're doing your scene right now." Her eyes widened. "But they said." "I know what they said. This one's for youth." Crew stared. Whispers started, but no one moved to stop him, because when Keanu spoke like that, people listened. Anna stood frozen. Her mind was racing, but something inside her told her to trust him. She took her place. The lights were still on, the camera was rolling, and for a few short minutes, she was not the girl who got cut. She was the star. Keanu acted with full heart. He gave her every emotion, every look, every line, with complete respect, and she matched him word for word, tear for tear. When this ended, silence filled the air, and then applause, not forced, not politerial. The crew clapped. The lighting guy wiped his eyes. The sound technician whispered, "That was better than anything we've shot all week." The director slow walked forward. He looked at Anna, then at Keanu. "What was that?" Keanu shrugged. "Just a scene, just a reminder." Anna stood there, breathing hard, shaking slightly, but for the first time all day she smiled, and the director, to everyone's surprise, didn't argue. He just nodded. Maybe we keep her, after all whispers. Behind the camera, the set looked the same the next day, same. Lights and cameras, same tight schedules, but something felt different. Anna stood near the wardrobe trailer, unsure if she should even be there. She had shown up because of what happened yesterday's beast. Keanu had made space for her in front of everyone, but no one from production had officially called her back. No papers were signed, no emails sent. Still, she had come carrying thetanist hope in her chest. She watched crew members walk past. Most smiled, some gave her quiet nods, others still avoided eye contact, not sure what her status was. Keanu arrived 10 minutes later, dressed casually, sipping tea from a plain white mug. When he saw Anna, he walked over. Like we're old friends, you came, he said. Anna smiled nervously. He wasn't sure if I should. I'm glad you did. Before she could answer, the director Saston jogged over, holding a tablet. Anna, wardrobe wants to see you and Herthia. Updating your look for today's shoot. Anna blinked. Shoot? The assistant smiled. Yeah. You're back in, didn't they tell you? Anna shook her head slowly. Keanu raised his eyebrows. Communication gap, huh? The assistant chuckled awkwardly and ran off. Anna turned to Keanu. This is really happening? Shu whispered. Looks like it. He said. You earned it. Inside the makeup trailer, the atmosphere had shifted. Yesterday, she was invisible. Today, she was a topic. Stylists greeted her by name. Someone offered her coffee. The costume disc showed her 2 new outfit options, but as soon as the door closed behind her, outside the trailer, the whispers began. You heard what happened, right? Keanu went rogue. The director looked furious, but didn't say a word. And now she's back on set. She better not mess it up. No second chances in this town. Anna couldn't hear them, but she felt the weight of their eyes in a place like this. Every action echoed. Meanwhile, if director sat with the producers in a dark tent near the monitors. It was one scene, he said flatly. One good scene. We heard a whole vision. The senior producer looked tired. We also have a superstar lead who believes in her, and frankly, that footage yesterday, it tested well with the internal team. It wasn't even part of the script. Sometimes magic isn't, the producer said quietly. Sometimes it just happens. The director rubbed his face. Fine. But if she slips even one, Cheshire's out. Anna's first scene back wasn't long, just a few lines in a restaurant, walking past Keanu's character and delivering a subtle warning, but the camera loved her. Her eyes held emotion. Her timing was sharp. Even the extra stopped to watch. When the take wrapped, the director didn't say much. He just muttered, "Good," and walked off. Keanu smiled at her. He never says that unless he means it. Anna exhaled deeply, her shoulders dropping in relief. But as the day went on, small challenges started popping up. The dialogue coach came over with sudden rewrites, heavier lines, deeper emotional turns. A makeup artist started nitpicking her appearance, adjusting the tiniest flaws. The assistant director whispered that time was running short and she needed to get it right fast. Anna realized it wasn't just acting anymore. Now she had to prove every second that she belonged. During lunch break, Anna sat alone again, this time on a bench near the catering truck. No found her balancing 2 plates. You didn't eat yet? She shook her head. He wasn't hungry. He handed her one of the plates. Eat, you'll need your strength. She looked at him, grateful but confused. Why are you doing this? She asked quietly. Because you remind me of someone. He said. Who? Me, he replied with a small laugh. A long time ago, scared, unsure, hungry to be seen. But you're Keanu Reeves. He smiled. And I used to be the guy no one believed in. Anna stared at her food, emotion building again. They're testing me, pushing me like they want me to fail. Keanu's tone shifted. That's how you know you're close to something. Important people get nervous when you're about to shineth. Afternoon brought a challenge scene. A monologue. Anna had to deliver it while standing in the rain, her character confessing something heavy to Keanu's character in front of a church. The rain machine roared above her, water soaked her hair and dressed the cold bit into her skin. The scene began. She nailed the first half. Her voice cracked in all threat ways. Her expression was raw. People behind the cameras were glued to her. A crew member accidentally stepped on a cord. The rain cut off, the lighting shifted, and just like that, the take was ruined. Cut, the director snapped. Anna stood still, soaked, heart pounding. Reset. The assistant director called Anna. World need to do it again. No complaint, no break, just again. Second take began. She spoke. The rain hit her face. The church bell rang in the background perfectly. Then a car alarm went off down the street. Cut. Third take. Simeon forgot to cue the lighting. Fourth take. The mic crackled by the 6th take. Anna's lips were trembling from the cold. Her voice barely came out. So-myun offered her a towel between scenes, but she handed it back. "I'm okay," she whispered, but she was. Keanu stepped in. He walked over to the director quietly. "She's freezing. She's a professional. She pushed through. She's also human," Keanu said. The director narrowed his eyes. "So what, we stop everything now?" Keanu didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He just said, "She deserves 5 minutes." And then he walked to the middle of the set and handed Anna his own coat. She took it shocked. "Thank you, you've got this," he said softly. 5 minutes passed. They started again on the 7th take. Voice trembled, not from cold, but from the character's pain. Her tears mixed with the rain. Keanu watched her closely, giving her every ounce of focus she had. When she finished, the set was silent again. Then the director stood up slowly. That was it," he said. Anna looked around, confused. "We got it," shisked the director, smiling for the first time in days. "You got it." After they wrapped that night, Anna stayed back to help clean up her props. No one asked her to. She just wanted to feel useful. Keanu approached her as she packed up her things. "They're talking about your scene," he said. "Who?" "Everyone. Crew, producers, even the studio rep." "Really, you did something real? People feel that?" Anna looked away, overwhelmed. "I still feel like I don't belong." Keanu leaned against the wall. "You belong, Anna. You belong because you showed up even when no one believed in you. You didn't wait to be invited. You brought your heart anyway." She looked at him with quiet awe. "Thank you," she said, "not just for today, for seeing me." He smiled. Our ways back in the studio office that night. The editor watched the rain scene on his monitor. He replayed it 4 times, then sent an email. Subject: "We need to rethink the final cut." And across town, the director sat alone with the footage, stunned, not just by her performance, but by what it meant for the entire story. Anna Dermus had changed the film, and no one saw it coming. The storm inside the studio boardroom was filled with tension. Flat screens glowed on every wall, showing early cuts of the film in the center. The scene with Ana de Armas played silently. Her eyes filled the frame, drenched in rain, shaking with emotion. Not a single executive spoke until the final second ended. Who the hell told her she was cut the head off? Studio finally asked. Silence. No one wanted to take responsibility. A junior producer cleared his throat. "It was in the second script revision. Her role was reduced for runtime. A method was a mistake. The executive snapped. This scene right here. This is white people, remember, not the car chases, not the explosions." "Disagreed," said another voice. The room buzzed with new urgency. Marketing heads jotted notes. The director, seated quietly at the end, looked up and said something no one expected. She changed the rhythm of the film. She slowed it down, made it real. Someone else added, "And Keanu works better beside her. It's like he unlocks a different side of himself when she's in the scene." The decision was made. Right there. Expand her arc, bring her deeper into Act 2, maybe even Act 3. Reshedule shoots if needed, the studio head ordered. "We're rewriting this around her." Just like that, the girl who had been cut from the story was now becoming its emotional center. Anna didn't know any of this when she arrived on set the next morning. She still felt unsure. Clothes they gave her were new. Her character now had 3 wardrobe changes instead of 1, but no one had explained why she saw her name on a new call sheet. Not under supporting now, it was next to Keanu's under lead cast. She stared at the page for a full minute before she could move. When she stepped onto set, everyone looked at her differently, not with pity, not with awkward silence, but with respect. Keanu walked up with a quiet smile. "They saw the footage, huh?" she asked. "They did," he said. Anna was still trying to take it all in. "I don't know how to be the lead." Keanu paused. "You don't need to try to be, you just need to tell the truth." The next scenes were longer, more layered in one. Anna's character shared a moment with Keanu's character over a piano, the two of them improvising a tune between takes. The script said only one line, but the chemistry between them was so natural that the director didn't call cut. He just let it roll. In another scene, she had to confront a man who betrayed her trust. It was a heavy monologue. Anna delivered it with shaking hands, voice rising from soft and broken to firm and furious. When the scene ended, the director slowly stood from his chair and clapped. Others followed. Anna blinked, trying not to cry. "You were made for this," the director said softly, but success didn't silence everyone. Jealousy stirred. A senior actress on set, once thought to be the emotional anchor of the film, suddenly found her scenes being trimmed with spasade. Anna's rising role was the reason. In the makeup trailer, the actress looked in the mirror and muttered, "One rain scene, and now she's the queen of the movie." A makeup artist chuckled nervously. "She's really good though. So are a lot of people." The actress said, "Sharplet land doesn't mean you get to skip the line." Anna didn't hear these words directly, but she felt the tension people used to ignore her were now overly friendly. Others kept their distance, unsure of what to say. On night, after a long shoot, she found a note slipped into her trailer. "Don't get too comfortable, stars fall the fastest." It wasn't signed. She sat alone, staring at it, unsure whether to laugh or cry. She didn't show it to anyone, not even Kinabut. That night her heart felt heavy. Keanu noticed her silence the next morning. "You okay?" he asked as they waited for the camera setup. Anna hesitated. "I guess I'm just a what, people looking at me like I'm something special, and others looking like they're waiting for me to." Falconu nodded. "The spotlight is a strange place. It warms you and burns you at the same time. How did you deal with it?" "I stopped chasing it. I just focused on being real, not perfect, just honest." She looked at him. "Is that enough?" "It is," he said. "For people who matter." Days past, scenes grew deeper. Anna and Keanu shared a rooftop scene that felt almost too real. The script called for a simple exchange, her thanking him, his character nodding. But when the camera rolled, Anna took a risk. She changed the line. Instead of a quiet "thank you," she said, "You made me feel like I existed." Keanu didn't break. He responded, "Always did. I just noticed the keto." Director let the camera keep rolling. No one breathed when they finally called cut. The entire crew exhaled as one. Aeon Grip whispered, "That scene's going to break people." Meanwhile, the studio was working overtime. Trailers were being re-edited. Anna's name was being added. Top promotional posters. An early test screening was scheduled in a small theater in Los Angeles. It was announced, with only a select few invited. Anna wasn't told about it. She was still shooting late into the night, unaware that strangers were already watching her performance in a dim room, tears in their eyes. One audience member, a veteran screenwriter, emailed the studio right after that girl, the one in the ranges, the heart of your film, don't change a thing. One evening, Anna walked onto set and found a small gift on her care. It was a single notebook wrapped with a red ribbon inside, were handwritten notes from every department, lighting, sound, wardrobe, each one thanking her not for being a star, but for being kind, patient, human. At the very end was a note from Keanu. "In a world full of noise, your silence spoke the loudest. Never forget how powerful that is." Anna closed the notebook, her hands trembling. She wasn't just acting anymore. She was living something real. But just as things began to feel right, another storm started brewing, this time not from inside the studio but from the press. An article leaked that night. Lead actress was originally cut. Insiders questioned chaos on set. The piece questioned the director's authority. It painted Anna's return as a publicity stunt. It claimed Kino pressured producers and that the story had gone off track. Anna read the article, in bed, the headlines burning into her brain. The final paragraph read, "Only time will tell if this gamble was worth it, or if it's just another Hollywood illusion." She closed her laptop slowly and wondered, was this the beginning of something great, or the beginning of the end? Silence louder than applause. Anna stood just outside the studio gates, the wind brushing against her coat as camera flashes popped. From a distance, paparazzi were camped across the street. Now, ever since that article went viral, what once was a quiet set had become the center of media curiosity. Each time a car pulled in, cameras clicked, questions were shouted, rumors spread like wild. Farina had avoided giving interviews. She didn't post, didn't respond, but silent sight turned out created more noise than words. The tabloids painted her as everything from a last-minute diva to a troubled starlet, being protected by Keanu. They said the director had lost control, that the movie was collapsing under the weight of its drama. Inside, things were no better. The producers were split. Some still believed in her, others thought keeping her would damage the film's credibility. But no one said these things to her face. Instead, they handed her new pages of dialogue, added more scenes, more close-ups, while whispering behind closed doors that she was a risk. One morning, Anna was called into the director's trailer. He didn't smile at it. "Ask her to sit. There's pressure coming from above," he said. "Investor sexics. They're nervous." Anna nodded. "Because of me?" He hesitated. "Because of the noise around you." She looked at the floor. "You want me to step back?" "No," he said quickly. "Not what I want. But you should know what we're dealing with." Anna took a deep breath. "If this role goes to someone else again, I won't fight, but I won't apologize for something I didn't do." The director finally looked her in the eye for a long second. He said nothing. Then quietly he added, "You're the best part of this film." She nodded once and walked out. Keanu found her on the rooftop set. An hour later she was alone, pacing, her face pale. You heard? She sketched some of it. They're thinking about cutting me again. Keanu leaned against the railing beside her. Do you know why I stayed in this project? He asked. Why? Because I believed in the story, not the hype, not the studio, just the story. And now I believe in you. Anna looked at him. What if I'm not strong enough to survive this? Keanu smiled gently. Then fall, and we'll get back up together. The next day, something unexpected happened. An early cut of the movie leaked online, just a short, Seneath, one in the rain. No one knew who leaked it. Maybe a crew member, maybe someone from marketing, maybe some trying to sabotage everything, but the result was something no one predicted. Scene went viral. People didn't just watch it, they felt it. Comments poured in all over the world. Who is this actress? She's incredible. This one scene told more truth than most full movies. That's Keanu Reeves. Like I've never seen him before. Anna's name trended for the first time, not because of gossip, but because of performance. An online campaign started within hours. Keeper fans began demanding that she stay in the film. Messages flooded the studios. Inbox. Media outlets that had mocked her were now praising her range, her emotion, her strength. But with the attention came another challenge. She was now a symbol of talent, of resilience, of underdogs fighting back, and that pressure weighs enormous on set. The energy shifted again. This time, Anna walked through with her shoulders straighter, not arrogant, not proud, just rooted. But not everyone was happy about her rise. One afternoon, during a long scene in the desert, Anna fainted. The heat was high, her schedule was tight. She hadn't eaten enough, and during take 4, she collapsed. Midline crew members rushed toward her. His script and was by her side in seconds. Someone get water, he shouted. She came to moments later, blinking against the sun. I'm okay, she whispered, struggling to sit up. Kenneth gently placed his hand on her shoulder. You're not okay, and it's all right to say that. The medic advised. Rest. Director wanted to push through, but Keanu stood between them. We're not filming anything else today, the director protested. We have deadlines, and she's human, Keanu said firmly. Anna looked up at him with tears in her eyes. From pain, but from something deeper. She wasn't used to people standing up for her like that. That night, back at her temporary apartment, there was a knock on her door. It was the senior actress from earlier, the one who had once resented her. Anna opened the door, surprised. The woman held out a small bowl of soup. This helped me during my worst shoot. Anna took it gently. Thank you. The woman looked uncomfortable but sincere. I washed it on you, she admitted. I was wrong. Anna nodded slowly. You understand? No, the woman said. You don't. You walked in with quiet strength, and that scared me. They sat together on the small balcony for almost an hour, sipping soup and watching the city lights. Sometimes healing doesn't come through applause, but through quiet moments like that. The next morning, Anna returned to set, rested, calm and ready. The final week of shooting had begun, and now every step felt different. Scenes flowed naturalized. Director trusted her choices. Keanu became more relaxed. The tension that had once wrapped around everything slowly dissolved. The climax of the film, an emotional goodbye between Anna and Keanu's characters, was scheduled for Friday. Anna spent days preparing notes, rehearsing lines, but going inside herself, remembering everything she had lost, everything she had reclaimed, everything she had fought through, just to stand in that scene on the morning of the shoot. Keanu found her sitting alone again, but this time she wasn't scared, just still. You ready? He asked. I've never been more. They filmed the scene at golden hour, the lights soft and perfect. Anna looked into Keanu's eyes, her voice breaking in the way only truth can break it. You changed my life, she whispered. Keanu, eyes full of quiet sorrow, replied, no, you just finally saw yourself. A tear slipped down her cheek. Don't forget, Mesh said I couldn't, he replied, not even if I tried. The director let the camera roll. Long after the lines ended, neither of them moved, and no one called cut because everyone knew this was not acting anymore. This was something real. That night, the director sent a message to the studio. We just wrapped the most powerful scene of the entire film, and it only exists because we didn't give up on her. The studio responded to minutes later. Her in for future projects. Now Anna walked home under a quiet sky. Her phone buzzed with messages, praise offers, but she didn't open any of them. Instead, she sat at her window looking out, hands wrapped around a warm mug, and for the first time in a very long time smiled for herself. Not for the cameras, not for approval, just for herself. The premiere, nobody expected. The red carpet was rolled out under the glowing lights of Sunset Boulevard. Camera flashes lit up the entrance of the historic theater, where the film's private screening was being held. Journalists, bloggers, critics, and industry elites lined the press wall waiting for one name: Keanu Reeves. But backstage, the crew wasn't talking about Keanu, they were talking about Anna. Her performance had become the heartbeat of a project. After months of uncertainty, delays, and rewrites, the film was finally ready, and Anna wasn't just in the movie, she was on the poster. Her eyes stared back from every digital billboard in the city. Her name, once absent from the call sheets, was now listed second right under Keanu's, and tonight would be the first time she watched the film in full. Anna stood in front of the mirror in her small dressing room, adjusting her dress with shaking hands. Her stylist had picked a soft silver gown, understated, elegant, with a shimmer that caught the light just enough. Her hair was tucked behind her ears. No diamonds, no flash, just her. She had been invited, yes, but still didn't feel like she belonged. Not fully. Keanu knocked softly at the door before walking in. He was dressed simply, black suit, no tie, calm, kind. "I see you look strong," he said. Anna smiled nervously. "I feel like I'm going to pass out." He stepped forward and gently took her hand. "Whatever happens tonight, Hesed, remember, you're already enough. The world's just catching up." As they walked down the red carpet together, the cameras went wild. Shouts echoed. "Keanu, over here." "Anna, how does it feel to go from cut to co-star?" She kept walking, smiling, softly clutching her small silver clutch with both hands. Every step felt like a dream. Surreal, terrifying, beautiful. Inside the theater, the lights dimmed, the screen came alive, and the story began. Anna watched in silence. Every time her face appeared, her heart pounded. But the audience wasn't just watching, they were erupting. Small gasps at her first appearance, gentle laughs at her subtle delivery, tears during the rain scene by the rooftop scene. The room had shifted. There was stillness, real stillness, the kind only truth creates. And when the final scene faded to black, the applause came, not polite, not forced, standing loud. Anna sat frozen, tears streamed silently down her cheeks. Keanu leaned over and whispered, "They see you now." After the screening, Gavrian moved to the rooftop reception. Producers hugged her, agents handed her cards, journalists circled waiting for their turn. But Anna stayed close to Thej, away from the noise, her glass of sparkling water untouched. She wasn't overwhelmed, she was just processing. Keanu walked up beside her, 2 plates of cake in his hands. "You didn't eat again," he said. "Was too nervous before." She replied, "No excuses now." He handed her a plate and sat on the ledge beside her for a few moments. They didn't speak, just the breeze, just the city lights. An older man approached them, tall, well-dressed and familiar. It was the studio head. He shook Keanu's hand, then turned to Anna. "You," he said, "did the..." Anna stood quickly. "Thank you, sir. I just..." He held up a hand. "You didn't need to explain." He said, "I watched the film twice, first as a businessman, then as a father. The second time I cried." Anna blinked. He continued, "We plan to submit it for awards, and our performance is already being talked about in some circles." She couldn't breathe for a moment. "Me?" she whispered. "Yes, you," he said. "I'm sorry we didn't see it sooner." Then he left. Anna looked at Keanu, stunned. Did he just say awards? He did. "What if this is all too much? Then take it one breath at a time." But as the buzz grew, sodded the pressure. Offers flooded her inbox, scripts, interviews, fashion campaigns. Suddenly, everyone wanted her. Everyone who once didn't return her emails. She hired a manager, did 3 interviews, and then she stopped because it started to feel like the noise was drowning the reason she started acting at all. She called Keanu late one night. "Can we talk?" she asked. Always. They met at a small park just after midnight. She wore a hoodie, he wore a baseball cap. No cameras, no agents, just 2 people. She sat on the swings. He leaned on the frame. "I don't want to lose myself," she said quietly. "I feel like the world's moving too fast." Keanu nodded. "That's how fame works. It moves at a pace you never agreed to. How do you stay grounded?" "I go back to silence. 2 simple things. I ride the subway, I cook, I talk to people. One knew me before the posters. And if I don't have that," he looked at her gently, "you make it." The next day, Anna sent a message to the director. "Thank you for trusting me." He replied quickly, "Thank you for proving me wrong." The awards season came quietly. Anna didn't expect anything, but nominations began to roll in. First small festivals, then the bigger ones. One morning her phone buzzed. A friend messaged her, "You've been nominated for Best Actress." She stared at the screen for a long time. Then she smiled. Not because she won something, but because someone somewhere saw the truth in her work. A few weeks later, Keanu invited her to a quiet dinner with some friends. No press, no photographers, just food, music, laughter. At one point he stood up to toast to Anna, he said, who showed us all that the ones who don't shout are often the ones worth listening to most. Shellowward, her head, tears threatening again, but this time they were light, not from pain but from gratitude. The final cut of the film, released worldwide 2 months later, millions watched, critics praised it, audiences felt it, but the real story wasn't just what was on the screen, it was what happened behind it. The girl who was once told she wasn't needed had become unforgettable, and one day during an interview on a late-night show, the host asked Keanu, with hard, "You pushed to keep Anna in the film. Why?" Keanu smiled softly, "Because I saw her heart before the world did." Anna watched that interview from her couch, holding a cup of tea wrapped in a blanket, and as the host moved on to the next question, she whispered to herself, "Thank you." Not just to Keanu, but to the version of herself who didn't give up. Full circle. The theater was nearly empty. Months had passed since the film's global release. It had won awards, received standing ovations, interviews, magazine covers, endless praise. But tonight was different. Tonight, Anna had asked for a private screening, no public, no crowd, just one screen, one chair, and her, the old projectionist, had agreed, quietly smiling as he set up the reel. "You're the first one to request this movie alone," he said, handing her a small bottle of water. Anna nodded with a grateful smile. "I need to watch it differently this time." He dimmed the lights and left her alone. As the opening credits began to roll, Shell in the back, heart still. The screen flickered to life, sound filled the space. There she was, her first scene, walking slowly into the story that had almost erased her before it began. She remembered every line, every emotion, where she almost gave up, but now she watched with new ice wine. The rain scene arrived. She didn't cry, not because it didn't move her, but because this time she wasn't watching a broken girl fight for a place. She was watching a woman who had already won, not trophies, not titles, but herself. After the final scene faded to black, she stayed in the silence. Her breath was steady, her hands calm. The projectionist returned with a small envelope. "Demean dropped this off earlier," he said, who he shrugged. "Quiet guy, black hoodie," said. "You'd know." She opened the envelope. Inside was a note. "Some people wait to be discovered, others walk into the light and remind the world how to see. Proud of you, always." No name, but she didn't need on it. Was Keanu. Anna stepped out into the night. The air was cool, the city lights flickered in rhythm. A young girl stood outside holding a notebook, maybe 14, maybe shy. "Excuse me," she whispered. "Are you Anna de Armas?" Anna nodded kindly. "Yes, I'm an actress too, or trying to be, and I just wanted to say, your film changed them. The way you looked at the camera in that last scene, it felt like you were looking at me." Anna smiled gently and took the girl's notebook. She wrote something inside and handed it back. The girl opened the page and read aloud, "You already have what it takes, just never stopped telling the truth." The girl's eyes lit up. Anna gave her a small hug and walked away into the night. Like a quiet promise across the city, Keanu sat alone in his balcony watching the stars. He didn't need applause, he never did. He just needed to know that someone he believed in themselves. Now, to his phone buzzed a photo. From on it was a picture of the empty theater screen with the caption, "Thank you for sitting beside me even when no one else did." He smiled and typed back, "Always." Anna's journey didn't end with that film. She went on to star in other roles, stronger, braver, more complex, but she never chased fame again. She chose stories that mattered, roles that scared her, characters that weren't beautiful but real, and with each performance, she brought something that no one could teach. Truth, honesty, excellence. That said everything. Years later, a film student wrote a paper titled "The Scene That Saved a Star." It talked about Anna's rain scene, how he changed the direction of modern cinema, how it brought depth back to commercial films, how it reminded the world that even in Hollywood, where roles are given and taken on a whim, sometimes the best stories are the ones no one planned. For the paper ended with a quote from Anna. "Used to think my worth came from being seen, but now I know my worth comes from seeing myself first." In a quiet house filled with books, scripts, and handwritten letters, Anna sat by her window one morning, watching the sun rise. A knock came. A delivery. A wooden frame inside was a photo, black and white, of the first day she sat alone in that soundstage. The day she got cut, and underneath it, a small plaque, "The beginning of everything." No signature, but she smiled because she knew, and in that final frame of memory, Anna saw not a movie star, not a survivor, not even Anna, just a girl with her whole soul in her eyes, and she finally whispered not to anyone else but to herself, "You were always enough."